This is the plaintiff, Kenneth Lipton. He says his cat, Casper, was attacked by the defendant's unsupervised pit bulls, and he wants the $1,972.40 in vet bills the defendants owe him, so he's suing. These are the defendants, Matthew and Blanca Parks. Matthew says their dogs are innocent, and he didn't in any way attack the plaintiff's cat. They say there's video of their dogs outside, which shows his dogs are being framed for something they didn't do. They're accused of failing to control their dogs.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Lipton, you are suing Mr. and Mrs. Parks for $1,972.40 in vet bills that you say are their fault. Tell me what happened.
Well, on September 12th, I came home and there was a guy across the street came running over, and he said that my cat had been attacked by 3 pit bulls, and that he came running over and he had some toy in his hand, like a swinging toy, and he got the dogs to leave the cat alone, but he thought that the cat had died, and that he called animal control, and animal control showed up. And after animal control showed up, they took the cat and drove off.
Did animal control search for the pit bulls?
No, animal control, by the time animal control got there, the pit bulls had run off.
Okay, now you didn't see any of this. This is someone telling you this happened?
Yeah, the neighbor across the street came running over.
Okay, is that neighbor going to testify today?
No, he's not going to testify, but he's in the animal control reports.
Okay.
It says that he was, okay. So what happened is, at that point, the cat was in the hospital, which was the Beverly Oaks Hospital. So at that point, I knew that the cat had been attacked by 3 pit bulls, but I had no idea who owned the dogs or anything. So about 10 days after that, this is 10 days later, and then there was a neighbor who came over too, and he lives 2 doors up to the south of me, and he said he also saw the dogs attacking the cat. So then 10 days later, the 3 pit bulls were running up the street again, and they got a video of them.
Who's they?
And
Who's they?
The same neighbor who was in the police report who said that he saw the dogs attack the cat, said that he identified the same 3 pit bulls and that they were running down the street. So he followed them, and there's a video camera which you have of the dogs running, and he followed them to the house on my street, which was owned by Matthew Parks there.
How far away do Mr. and Mrs. Park live from you?
They're about 10 houses down the street.
Had you ever seen their dogs before?
I had never met their dogs before.
And had your neighbor, who's not here to testify, ever met their dogs before?
No, he never met the dogs either. Okay.
So what happens next?
So the 10 days later, they followed the dogs to that house. And they called animal control, and the same officers that had been trying to find out what happened the first time, they knew that the cat had been attacked. This is on that page, it's page 10 on the bottom, that says page 2 of 10 maybe. But that's the one that says that my cat was attacked 10 days earlier, and they figured out that the cat was
they? Who's they? I got to be the one to figure it out. That's why I'm wondering,
okay, sure.
What besides your evidence today is what, the report?
Yeah, the animal control report says basically that...
Why isn't the witness here to testify?
I didn't bring the witness because the animal control reports give his name and said that they traced the dogs back to the house, and it was owned by Mr. Parks.
So what you're asking is for me to rule in your favor based on the animal control report as opposed to a live witness who testifies in front of me. You're asking me to base my verdict on what we call hearsay. Let me talk to you, Mr. and Mrs. Parks. What's going on? Because there's a video of your dogs running loose, isn't there?
There is, and on the 22nd, the dogs did get out, and the workers that we had here working on the houses notified us immediately that the dogs had gotten out. And fortunately, I was basically almost home. I was.
How many dogs got out?
Three.
Three
dogs
what?
got
Pit
out.
bulls?
3 pit bulls, yeah.
All right, go on.
On the 12th, our dogs did not get out because if they had, we would have been notified immediately.
Well, either that or someone's a slack jaw.
On the 22nd.
Why can't it be if your dogs are able to get out once? Why couldn't they have gotten out twice? How many? It's another roving pack of three pit. Just a second. It's another roving pack of 3 pit bulls. Also roaming around your neighborhood? There's another roaming 3 pit bull gang besides your 3 pit bull gang. There's a different 3 pit bull gang roaming in your neighborhood.
Yes, there is.
There is? Where do they live?
That I don't know.
So how do you know there are?
There was another separate attack reported in the Neighborhood Watch website.
3 pit bulls attack a person that was walking her dog on Ventura Boulevard, which is very close to our house. 3 pit bulls. She was on Ventura, and they attacked her dog.
What day did that happen?
On the 12th.
The same date as
the same day.
Yeah.
How do you know those weren't your dogs that were loose?
Because that day our dogs were at home when we got home, and if we.
What do you mean by at home?
Workers.
Because
what do you mean by at home? In your yard?
Yeah. Our dogs were at home.
How do you know they didn't
come
out of your yard and come back into your yard?
Because we have experience with them getting out of the yard.
How do you have experience with them getting out of the yard? So this has happened more than once.
We do.
How often have they gotten out of your yard?
In Granada Hills, like a year ago, 2 years before that.
A couple of times.
How many times?
A couple of times. But
why is it always pit bulls that get out? Why isn't it ever Fluffy, the French poodle, that gets out? Why is it always pit bulls that get out? How's this happen?
Consistent.
So did animal control come and talk to you folks?
They did.
What'd they say?
The officer came.
He said that if they were attacked a dog or a cat or anything, they would have some marks on them.
10 days later?
10
days later, the marks might not have healed?
And he said,
it's 10 days ago.
Anything, so
how is it that 10 days ago the marks might not have healed? And what if they got the better of the cat, 3 pit bulls? Maybe they didn't have any marks on it. You should see the other guy.
Well, the point I was trying to make is that we have experience with our dogs getting out. And when they get out...
That's a terrible point to make in a case where you are being sued for $1,900 in vet bills because your dogs got out.
When they get out, they don't come back home.
Why are you telling the officer who comes to talk to you that you are certain your dogs did not get out when there's a video of your dogs out?
On a different day.
There's a video of the dogs out on a different day, not that day.
No. You find out late. That's your answer now for the video. But at the time that he talks to you, you say you're unaware of any attack, let alone his dogs getting out of the house. M. Parks stated he was certain his dogs have not gotten out. Well, you've already admitted to me that your dogs got out. But this isn't saying they got out on a different day. This is saying they haven't gotten out. This is before the video bubbles up, I guess. So why are you telling them you're certain your dogs have not gotten out as opposed to, listen, I know my dogs got out on the 26th, but they didn't get out on the 12th or whatever it was?
At that time, he didn't know. You didn't know at that time.
No, you didn't know that it was video.
Obviously.
Okay, because obviously you know on the day they get out, because according to you, the contractors call you right away to say, ooh, dogs got out. So you knew. You just didn't know there was video proving it. Jeez. All right, let's see the video that everybody keeps talking about here. There's the gang of 3 pit bulls.
Oh, Jesus.
Who's that in the video there? Is that you, Mr. Parks?
Who's it?
Yeah.
Oh. He just said yeah. Now we know.
So here's what we've got. We've got animal control asking you if your dogs ever get out and you saying no. We've got you testifying here that your dogs have got, that you have a lot of experience with them getting out. We've got video where we can see that your dogs got out. We have the person on the video saying, well, I guess now we know, because he yelled to you, are those your dogs? And I guess you answered yes. Where would you go if you were me?
I know how my dogs behave. I know before this date, they lived for 2 years in a house with small dogs and cats. I know that my dogs would never attack.
You know, Mr. Parks, every single time a pit bull owner testifies, they say what you're saying. They say, then they show me pictures of the pit bull playing with their grandson, who's an infant. And they show me, because there's never a problem until there is, right? Because at the end of the day, we're not punishing them for being pit bulls. They're animals. If they exhibit animal behavior, it's expected. What we punish in court are the humans for letting them get out and do damage. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,972.40.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. and Ms. Parks, let me ask you how you feel about the judge's decision. You got a judgment against you now for $1,972. How about that?
We still feel like it wasn't our dogs. Just, I mean, they if our dogs get out, they don't come back home.
What do you mean by that? If they get out, they don't come back home. What do you mean?
They don't come back. They just keep going. They just keep going. The only way we got them back is because animal control picked them up, and we had to pick them up at the shelter. That's the only way we got them back.
And they never attack anybody.
All right. Well, listen, that's the judge's decision. You got to live with it. Mr. Lipton, never did hear anything about the outcome of how your cat was injured. How's your cat doing, by the way? Yeah.
The cat spent 8 days in the hospital, and the cat now walks kind of like, almost like he has arthritis. He walks kind of slow and stiff. Other than that, the cat seems fine.
All right. Well, congratulations. You have won your case, and good luck to you.
Doug, if you have a situation where there are dogs roaming in a neighborhood, especially vicious dogs, and the owners will not take responsibility, call your Department of Animal Control. It's a local agency. They can come out and first talk to the owner, give the owner a warning. At a point, if the owner will not be responsible, Animal Control has the power to take the dogs away.
Dear judges, lately many states are taking animal welfare and abuse seriously and fining and jailing severe cases. Will this affect how cases involving the ownership death of a pet is considered? If they're acknowledged as victims of abuse, how can they still be considered property and not a family member?
No matter how much we love our dogs and our cats and our pets and how much they love us and the relationships we develop with them, at the end of the day, the courts consider them personal property. I mean, it would be the same as a tennis racket or a toaster or a bicycle, right?
People have a lot of problem with that, obviously.
They do, and you know, and I understand it too. I mean, we don't have laws that forbid, or we don't have the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Toasters, right?
Right.
But we do for our animals because we recognize that they're important, and they need protection.
Special, and they need protection.
They definitely need protection.
But they're still considered property in the eyes of the law, and we can have a society where we don't treat them as human, but we treat them humanely.
Exactly. And you know, that no cases that I ever sat on as a judge brought more public comment and outcry, emails, phone messages than I had that case
on that case
with the puppy stabbing, right? It was a domestic dispute where the guy grabs the wife's puppy and says, "You love the puppy more than you love me," plunges the knife into the puppy.
Puppy lives.
The puppy did survive, had a little bit of neurological damage, but recovered pretty well and was adopted by the cop who responded to the call. She
I did not know that.
Yeah, she adopted him later.
That's something.